Okay, for today's work, we're going to be working questions 9 through 12. So yes, we will have to flip the page. I'm going to start with question number 9. Find the value or values of x when f of x is equal to 3. Now, we're going to start moving into what we call functions. You are familiar with the formula y equals something, right? You guys are used to the equations y equals something. Now, what if we change the y to f of x? So notice on my function here, on my work here, instead of a y, I have f of x. And I even tell you here, we're going to solve for x, the value or values of x, when f of x is equal to 3. So what I'm going to do, let me rewrite my equation. Let me rewrite my question here. But instead of f of x, I'm going to write a 3. So let me write this as 3 equals 2 times x plus 4 squared plus 1. Oh, this actually kind of looks like the work that we did yesterday. I'm going to solve for x. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate my sides through the equal sign. I'm going to get the x by itself. So I look at any plus or minus that has nothing to do with the x. And yep, I happen to see this plus 1 right here. I'm going to get rid of this plus 1 by moving it to the other side as a minus 1. Don't forget to switch the sign. So let me just say that I have 2 is equal to 2 times x plus 4 squared. Okay, I still see a number outside of the parentheses. Notice how the squared is just the parentheses. So my goal right now is to get the parentheses by itself. I see a number outside of the parentheses, so I'm going to divide both sides by that number. In this case, 2, because I'm trying to get rid of this number. Now on the left side, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I have that 1 is equal to the parentheses x plus 4 squared. Nice. Now I know how to, I know how to get rid of squares by doing the square root. So actually, let me do it with blue here. Once you get the parentheses squared, like the parentheses to the second power by itself, that's when you can do your square root. So let me say that again. Once you get the parentheses square by itself, that's when you can do your square root, not before. Okay, so let's see. The square root of 1. I remembered I get 2 answers, right? Positive or negative 1. Okay, positive or negative 1 equals x plus 4. Remember how my square root got rid of my squared exponent? That's the reason why I do square roots, to get rid of the exponent. So then, I'm still trying to get the x by itself, so this plus 4, let me move it to this other side. I'm going to move it as a minus 4. Don't forget to switch the sign. So I'm going to write here. I have pretty much most of my answer there. X is equal to negative 4 plus or minus 1. So that means I'm going to get 2 answers. One of them, I'm going to go negative 4 plus 1. That gives me 1 answer. The other answer, I'm going to go negative 4 minus 1. Okay, so I'm going to go from small to large. I want to do my numbers first, my small number first. So let me do the minus first. X is going to be negative 4 minus 1. Some of you might be wondering, where is he getting this from? Let me highlight this. See how it says that x is equal to negative 4 plus or minus 1. So my first thing I'm going to do is minus 1. So negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. And my other answer is going to be negative 4 plus 1. So I'm going to call that 3. Actually, negative 3. So negative 4 minus 1 gave me negative 5. Negative 4 plus 1 gave me negative 3. I wrote them from small to large. All right, let's do another example here. Find a value or values of x when f of x equals 4. So what I have to do is rewrite my question here, but instead of f of x, I'm going to write 4. So I have 4 equals a negative sign, then the parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 4. And then I'm going to separate my sides through the equal sign. First thing that I do is get rid of this plus 4. It's the first thing that I do. Get rid of plus 4. So I'm going to move it to the other side as a minus 4. So that gives me 0, because 4 minus 4 is 0, is equal to a negative sign, x minus 3 squared. Now the negative sign outside of the parentheses, that really represents negative 1. That's really what it does. Okay, so let me divide by the number outside of the parentheses, not the exponent, the other number. So let me divide by negative 1, because I'm trying to cancel that. Now 0 divided by negative 1. 0 divided by anything is 0. We're not going to call it negative 0 because there's no such thing as a negative 0. So just 0 is equal to x minus 3 squared. Now that I have the parentheses square by itself, now I'm going to do the square root on both sides. The square root of 0, for right now, let me call it plus or minus 0. Some of you might be like, there's no such thing as a minus 0. Okay, yeah, there's no such thing. You guys are going to see in a minute why I'm still calling it plus or minus 0. So plus or minus 0 equals x minus 3. So to get the x by itself, this minus 3, this negative 3, I'm going to move it up to the left side as a positive 3. So let me emphasize, my answers are 3 minus 0 and 3 plus 0. That's basically what it says here. X is going to be 3 minus 0 and 3 plus 0. What's 3 minus 0? 3. What's 3 plus 0? 3. Okay. I'm not going to say 3 and 3, right? It's the same number. So I'm just going to, my answer will just be 3. That's why I ask you, find a value or values. Right? Question number 9, we had 2 values. In question number 10, we only have 1 value. So some of our questions will have 1 value or 2 values. Okay. Let's flip the page. Let's take a look at question number 11. Find the value of x when f of x equals negative 2. So let me rewrite this as a negative 2 equals, there's a negative sign, x plus 1 all squared plus 2. Remember, I'm going to separate them through the equal sign. It is plus 2 at the end. I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to move it to the left side as a minus 2. So that gives me negative 4 is equal to negative, and then the x plus 1 whole squared. Okay. The negative sign really represents negative 1. So let me divide both sides by a negative 1, because I'm trying to cancel that. Negative 4 divided by negative 1. Negative divided by negative is positive. 4 divided by 1 is 4. So I have that 4 is equal to x plus 1 squared. I see the parentheses squared, so this is when I do my square root. So that gives me 2, or plus or minus 2. Remember, the square root of 4 is positive 2 or negative 2. Plus or minus 2 equals x plus 1. But then I'm also going to get rid of this plus 1. And I'm going to move it to the left side as a minus 1. Don't forget to switch your sign. So in reality, I see that x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus 2. Okay, so just as a reminder, what does this mean? Negative 1 minus 2 will give me one answer. Negative 1 plus 2 will give me the other answer. That's why I said plus or minus. But I'm doing the minus first because I want to do the small number first. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. Negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1. So my answer is going to be negative 3 and positive 1. Good. Let's take a look at our last example here. When f of x equals 1. So let me rewrite this as 1 is equal to x minus 2 all squared minus 3. And then I'm going to separate my sides through the equal sign. This minus 3, I'm going to move it to this other side as a plus 3. Don't forget to switch the sign. So we have that 4 is equal to x minus 2 all squared. Okay, I don't have a number outside of the parentheses, right? No, I have the parentheses square by itself. This is when I do my square root then. I'm going to do my square root already. The square root of 4 is positive or negative 2. And here on the right side, I have x minus 2. I'm going to get rid of this minus 2. I'm going to move it to the other side as a positive 2. And I even see this right here. Here's where my answer is. 2 plus or minus 2. Okay, so let me remember that that means 2 minus 2. And that also means 2 plus 2. Now I know 2 minus 2 is 0. I know 2 plus 2 is 4. So my answer is 0 and 4. Don't forget the space before and after the word and. So as a reminder, some of our answers have two solutions. You notice how I wrote them with the word and in between them, from small to large. And then one of my answers and some in your homework will only have one answer because it's the same number repeated.